Welcome to this coaching video. It's a Tuesday, and Tuesday's theme is transformational leadership. I believe and I advocate, I study and research transformational leadership versus other forms of leadership that exist out there. And I will continue for as long as I draw breath to actually learn more about transformational leadership, because I believe fundamentally that human beings like you, like me, are hardwired, right, for transformation. What do I mean? We are hardwired to learn, and our only reason for existence, now hear me and hear me well on this one, our only reason, the sole reason why we are born and we live in this world is to grow, which means it is about self-discovery. And when we discover things about ourselves, the very essence of who we are, the very essence of why we are alive is fulfilled. So transformational leadership for me is the main reason why we were brought to planet Earth, in order to be stewards of a greater power, whatever name you give to him or whatever name you give to God, the Creator. That is the main reason that we are born on planet Earth, to serve as stewards and take care of this garden up until our life expires and the next generation comes along. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a president who has lost the plot and a team around him that does not speak the truth. So the topic of my coaching today is an executive who cannot execute. Let me say that again. An executive who cannot execute. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday, which was the 15th, Monday the 15th of September 2025, delivered a stern warning to ANC councillors at the FNB Stadium in Johannesburg, emphasizing that the party's survival depends on improving municipal service delivery. He urged councillors in his speech, which, by the way, some media houses have reported as his most fiery speech. He urged councillors to cut ties with corrupt networks and prioritize merit-based hiring, stressing that officials implicated in corruption won't be protected. Really, the ANC will establish dedicated teams to pursue and expose criminals, or rather criminal networks within the state. Now, some key points from his speech include the following. Let's look at some of his key points. Number one, corruption and accountability. Ramaphosa condemned corruption. There's nothing new there. Patronage, really, and self-enrichment, emphasizing the need for accountability and transparency in municipal governance. Now, those words that he used, the need for accountability and transparency in municipal governance. They are actually, for me and to me, are quite nauseous. They give me nausea because these are words which are actually useless and meaningless when pronounced by people like the president of the ANC, who happens to be the president of the country as well. All right. Second point is he mentioned service delivery failures. He acknowledged, for example, that the ANC-led municipalities often underperform compared to those run by the Democratic Alliance, which is called the DA. Really? Right? Citing examples like Cape Town and Stellenbosch municipalities. Ramaphosa instructed councillors, right, to learn from these municipalities and fix issues like potholes, water leaks, and refuse removal within the next 100 days. Now, it's an interesting day in the life of a leader, right? When you tell your followers, you tell your generals, right? You tell your soldiers to go and learn from the enemy of the, or rather, from the camp of the enemy. That for me is the strangest part. I know people are touting the fact that, you can learn from your enemies. Yes, you can learn from your enemies, right? But you can only learn a few things from your enemies. You cannot learn the core. So you mean the enemy must teach you how to shoot? Do you really mean the enemy must teach you how to shoot? Because that is what is happening here. You mean what councillors of these two municipalities or these two areas of Cape Town and Stellenbosch, you really mean they must stop what they're doing and those councillors must teach other councillors from the enemy camp to actually do their work? It is the strangest thing, but I'm not surprised coming from the president of the ANC again, who happens to be the president of the country. Now, point number 3 that he emphasized was failure, right, of the ANC, right? The president framed the gathering as a critical turning point. It's too late. It's not a turning point. They will not turn as long as they have a sheep, right, trying to lead the lions. There is nothing that is going to turn. I can tell you that for free as a leadership expert, right? Now, he warned that the party's decline in support, particularly in major metros, could lead to its demise if councillors don't take action. Well, there is nothing that is going to lead his party, Ramaphosa's party, to its demise. It is gone already. Let me pause there for a while. It is gone. The ANC is not short of leaders. It is short of a leader, one person who can inspire hope, who can actually be an executive that actually executes. Let me tell you what I mean by that. The word executive comes from 16th century England, right? And it was given to a person who would actually execute people or kill people who have been found guilty. This person was chosen by a few in the community who hold high positions. And when this person would be doing the work, which is executing, which is cutting people's heads off, he would be given a mask so that people don't know who he is. you know. And the term used by CEOs and managers nowadays that says heads will roll, in fact, even politicians use this term, heads will roll. Actually, that term comes from that work done by the executor, because his job was to swing the sword once and the head must roll. Well, I mean, if I was being killed, I would want him to swing once as well. I wouldn't want him to be trying to chop, my neck off or anything. No, no, no. I would want him to just swing once and the head must just roll. Now, he also emphasized, that is Ramaphosa, he emphasized that the party's performance in the 2026 local government elections hinges on councillors to deliver tangible results. Now, that statement sounds factual, but it is not true. There's a difference between a fact and the truth. And the truth in this matter is that the ANC has taken has taken 20 to 30 years of losing credibility to get to the point where it is now as an organization. And it's not going to take a few months of councillors doing proper service delivery to get the ANC back into a credible position. It's not. There is no overnight success when it comes to leadership, right? I believe in overnight success as long as the night is 10, 20, or 30 years long. If you're going to achieve something of significance, in this case, as the ANC, you have got to start now, you've got to start urgently, and you've got to continue for the next 20 years. For the next 20 years, you've got to continue and actually ensure that you gain the credibility back. And there's a myriad, there is a plethora of commitments you need to make and deliver on. Right? So that may sound factual, but it is not true. Now, lastly, Ramaphosa's speech was really aimed at galvanizing the ANC councillors into action, right? Emphasizing their role as agents of change in revitalizing local government and restoring public trust. Now, I need to say this. The ANC leadership, the NEC of the ANC, the top 7 or top 8, however many they are, where there's President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Deputy President, which is Paul Mashatile, the Chairperson of the ANC, the Secretary General, you name them, all of them that sit in that NEC of the ANC. Each individual that sits there knows what must be done. Now, not what must be said. The ANC is saying all the right things up until now. They are all saying the right things most of the time, if not all the time. So the issue here is not what's being said. It's not. It is what is not being done. And part of what is not being done is actually execution. In other words, holding people who are responsible, right, to account, and actually in a speedily fashion, and also effectively in a non-partisan manner, and avoiding all the cliques that exist within the ANC, and actually get the public to believe through action, get the public to believe that actually when you do wrong in the ANC, you will be dealt with. Now, there's a problem right there with the statement I've just made, because the president himself allowed a situation, allegedly allowed a situation where foreign currency was kept in his household or in a place of business that is owned by him, and he had prior knowledge of this and did not act accordingly. Now, if he can't act in that small matter, I'm not saying it's a small matter, but in that small kind of way, if he cannot act, how can we entrust him? How can he hold credibility in bigger things and matters of the state? He is an executive that cannot execute. Unfortunately, he is an executive that is not executing. And in the next near future, I do not still see him executing. I don't. Until the elections come, the local government elections, the top brass of the ANC, headed by President Cyril Ramaphosa of the ANC and of the country, will not have acted in a manner that exudes confidence and provides proper leadership, such that the important matters of the state in all its categories and departments is actually taken care of. Holding a meeting, right, of councillors at FNB Stadium and saying all the kinds of things that he has been saying, it is not enough. It is not enough. There has got to be capacity right at the top. And at the moment, the top is only the president and leadership of the national government. That impact is not coming down to provincial government and coming down to local government. In my humble opinion, but observed opinion, the local government in South Africa is a sphere that just operates on its own, it's on autopilot, and there is no one leading. There is no central leadership that provides insight and direction, right, when it comes to local government. And it's the strangest thing for me, because this is the tier of government that actually is in the cold face of service delivery, of poverty, of unemployment and inequality in South Africa. This is the government, the level of government that actually interfaces with the public. It's the strangest part for me. I don't understand it. So, if I were to ask the president of the ANC, who happens to be the president of the country as well, this is the question I would ask him. What exactly are you president of? I mean, what is it that you are presiding over? What is this chaos? What is this bubbling mess of chaos that you are president of? Because for me, you are not transforming anything, you are not transforming anybody, and you are not helping the situation. None whatsoever. You are not an executive that executes. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to your comments and insights. Please share this video with other people. Please share this video. Let's get the message out there. If you haven't, subscribed for my coaching in September, the information is below this video. Thank you for watching.